More questions for John?
You said that you hadn't thought about Andy Warhol in 40 years, but I was wondering, did you happen to see the Marcel Duchamp show, the retrospective that was curated by Walter Hopps at the Pasadena Museum? And could you talk a little bit maybe about a relationship, if you have any, with Marcel Duchamp?
I did see the show in Pasadena. I did not meet him, nor have I ever met him. And I think I have a direct line to Marcel Duchamp and John Page, too. They've been both very influential. I do not believe in screw the bourgeoisie idea of art. I do think art is about communication. And I think I've said some prior interviews of Boston Wallace, where he said the idea that the duty of a writer is to make the reader feel intelligent. I feel the same way. The duty of an artist is to make the viewer feel intelligent. So I don't think you really have to spoon-feed a viewer. Generally, they're just considered pretty bright. You just have to give them something to hang on to, and then they can begin to unravel it themselves.
Wonderful things about the generosity of John and the variety that resides within his work is that it's available to viewers on so many levels because there are arresting images. There is an interest in text, an interest in linguistic theory, if you like. There are movies, and there are so many ways in which to experience the art.
I was wondering, does Southern California continue to be a treasure trove for you?
What?
A treasure trove.
Well, the way I address those kinds of questions, I don't think of myself as a California artist. And so it's a treasure trove no more than any other city.
You've said that you don't identify yourself as a California artist, but do you think that there is a unique California sensibility that's different than the New York school, say?
I think there used to be, and I miss those days of regional art. I don't obtain anymore because you can see instantly what other artists are doing, and so pretty much where you go in any place in the world, you're going to see similar art. So I think that's pretty much gone. I used to think there was an attitude in Los Angeles, which may still be there, I'm not so sure, that it's a newer city compared to New York, that they're less hidebound by tradition, and maybe, well, it's not like you can go into a cafe like, let's say, in Vienna, and Mozart sat there. It's not going to happen in Los Angeles. And because of that, I think there is a more of a attitude of why not. And I remember being in a conversation in the late 60s with artists in Natchez, Kansas City, and from Europe, LA, Europe and New York. And that was back then when you thought there was progress in art, the modernist idea, but no, we don't think there is. But artists are very jealous of what their idea is. And I met them with some idea, and complete silence, you could hear a pin drop. And they're like, what did I say? And then somebody said, well, that wouldn't fit very well into art history, would it? And I'm thinking, who the fuck cares? Why is that an issue? But I think that might be something.
Thank you.
John, thank you very much.
Okay, well, that was a nice question and answer period. This is the Cremation Project. It's an affidavit. This is a cremation of all his art. It's been burned between 1953 and 1966. as we move along chronologically, you can see that the work is becoming much more ambitious. It's getting larger formats. And although I'm not a big fan of photography, this is the kind of work that I do appreciate, because he's, whether he wants to admit it or not, he's falling back into the realm of painting. This is 3 red paintings, 1988. This might be the most typical of all the pieces in the show. At least this is the kind of work that I identify with him. And I was talking to the curator, and she said one of the problems that they've had was hanging the work crooked, but it had to be perfectly crooked. Now, people have said that a big part of his practice is the idea of pointing or designating, and I think the funny thing about the way that he's able to do it is that he can actually point at things by removing them. Here's an example. The Duchamp series, person climbing exterior wall of tall buildings.
I admire what you do online.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But I have to say, just from a coloristic standpoint and a formalistic standpoint, that's a very nice piece. Oh, this is figure with side of beef. And here again we've got his removals. But I think the other great thing is the way that he's got these 2 rectangles, a square and a rectangle, overlapping. And you have to think about this section here. This kind of recalls Mary Heilman and some of the way that she would play with the idea of the square picture plane or the rectangular picture plane. The Overlap series, Jogger with Cosmic Event. Well, here we got again, unapologetic painting. And here's another piece with straight ahead painting in here. The Intersection series, Embrace Hand and Ear, Seascape 2001. And this kind of format kind of recalls maybe somebody like Robert Mangold. And that painting definitely has a Matissean quality about it. So these are the late works. Arms and legs. I actually like the austerity of this, and he's getting much more involved with the kind of 3-dimensional planes and the blocks of color that actually stand out on the surface. This is titled Prima Facie and gets back to his text and photography. Prima Facie, American cheese, carrot stick, black bean soup, perky peach leek. Well, that's painting. This is James Kalm reporting on John Baldessari's Pure Beauty here at the Met. Thanks, Kate.